Good morning, members of the media. Welcome to our press conference. We'll have a two-legged press conference. We'll start off with our head coach, Kaitano Tembo, as well as SuperSport United defender, Grant Kekana. I'll get right to it, coach. Big game this weekend on Saturday at home to Moroka Swallows. Just share your thoughts on that game.
First of all, good morning to all the members of the media. We coming up against a very good team, and I think they've proved, themselves, that they can punch above their weight. Credit should go to Brendan Truta and the Swallows management, for the great job they've done, so far. It's a team that plays with no fear, and we are expecting a very tough game against a very spirited, Swallows, and it's a team that also one of the two teams which are unbeaten in the league, so it says a lot about them as a team.
We'll take some questions now, Voyo, and then we'll take Karabo after that. Voyo, can you hear us? Okay, I'll swap it around, Karabo, and then I'll take Voyo after.
Thank you very much, Brian. Good morning, coach. This is Karabo. I think Brian didn't do justice from the much-loved, beautiful game, eh, Brian?
Morning, Karabo.
Coach, I think you've just gone well over halfway through the season. You've played, I think, 19 games. What is your report card on the first half of the season? You're currently second on 27 points. So, what is your report card in terms of the first half of the season that you went through? Thank you.
I think in terms of what we wanted to achieve, always try to get 2 points per game, and I think we are well, in that, position to achieve that. We haven't really achieved that because we still have our 2 games to play. For us to be able to achieve that, we 3 points off where we want to be. But in terms of, the overall makeup of the team, I think we've done well. Considering the fact that we've lost, some of our very influential players. I'm talking about Dean Femin, Aubrey Modiba, Thabo Mnyamane, as well as Clayton Daniels. And I think we've also stayed competitive, and I think not many people have even noticed that the makeup of the team has changed drastically from the past 2 seasons, especially from the team which I inherited. So, but the team has just stayed, competitive. We are, always in the thick of things, and for me that shows, that we've done a lot, as a technical team and as a club to try and, bring in a few new players, especially the younger players, to play a role. So I'm quite, pleased, so far. But I think there's still a lot of work to do. So many games to still play, and so many things to still play for. So we trying to take it one game at a time, and I think that's what has been very key for us.
We'll go to Amin.
Good morning, Coach. Jalmain here from Sakadaduma.
Morning, Jalmain.
Coach, my question to you is a simple one. I know that one game doesn't decide the league, but do you think that a match of this caliber really states where you are in terms of challenging for the title this season? Do you think this is one of those where we saw them getting a lot of points last minute even from Sundown Pirates? Do you think this is one of those games that could really just solidify your status as genuine title contenders this season?
Look, not necessarily, because it's a game that gives you 3 points. And if you look at it, I think we played Amazulu and we played Sundowns, and we dropped points in those games. But we came back, we won against CTM, and all of a sudden we also back on track. So for me, it's not necessarily one game, that you determine whether we're going to win the league or we or not. But it's a game that might give us an opportunity to stay closer. If we get the 3 points, it will give us an opportunity to stay closer, to teams like, Sundowns. Sundowns have been wobbling past 3 games, 3 draws, but yesterday they won the game and they're still, top of the table. So it says, a lot, the unpredictability of this league, whereby you lose 1-2 games, you lose touch, but you win 2-3 games, all of a sudden you are competing for the title. So one game at a time, very key. If we get the 3 points, I think we will be very happy.
I'll take Tony and then Busi. We'll test Will's mic after Busi. Tony?
Morning, coach. This is Tony from ENCA.
Morning, Tony.
Given your position at the moment and your history with the Nedbank Cup and also other cup competitions, how does that factor in, or where does it factor into your plans at the moment, given that it is coming up?
Yeah, look, I think also this season I think this is only other cup besides the league left. So we want to try and make sure that we compete, for it, and also it gives us an opportunity also to spread our game time, to our other players, especially the younger players who haven't really got, a lot of opportunities. Maybe we might be able to, tweak the team here and there and give some of the guys as well a little bit of a rest. But nevertheless, for us, each and every game is important. Whether it's a cup game or it's a league game, it's always important because we always want to prepare the same way. And the Nedbank also gives us that opportunity because we also want to do well in the Nedbank Cup.
Busi?
Morning, coach. Morning, guys. Coach, mine is just a quick one. How do you make sure that your players are switched on throughout the game until the last minute? Like the young man was saying earlier, we've seen how Swallows have scored, last minute goals against Pirates and against Sundowns as well. How do you make sure that your players are switched on until the final whistle goes? Thank you.
It's not something that we can just create on the day of the game. I think it's something that we always try and work on in training because it becomes also a mental thing. Besides the tactical, element of it, it's also a mental thing that the players always need to be prepared that we're playing for 90 plus minutes in each and every game. But at the same time as well, we need to try and also help them, tactically in terms of what we need to do in case we are leading or in case we are trailing. So we always try and make sure that the players are focused, are ready throughout the 90 minutes. That's very key for us.
Let's test Vuyo's mic again. Vuyo, can you hear us? Hello, Vuyo? Okay, we'll just text the question in the chat box here, and I'll read your question out to coach. We'll go Dalmain and then Karabo again.
Coach, in the absence of Vuyo's mic, I just want to ask, could you please give us an injury update ahead of the match?
Well, at the moment, I think we only have 2 injuries. That's Ikram Reyners and Julie Manziba. Those are the only players who are out, who won't be available. But at the same time, it's all got Evans and the other younger players like Mukiva, as well as Talent Mbata, also coming back from injury. They've just started training with the team, but not yet ready, for selection. So those are the only 2 players who won't be, available for selection.
Karabo, and I see Vuyo's mic is working now.
Thank Thank you once again, Brian. Coach, I think this has been possibly one of the most challenging season in terms of the number of games that you guys have been playing. I think you've been playing every third day. I think it's possibly unheard of unless you take it back to when you guys were playing the Confederations Cup. How would you say that your squad has managed to go through such a very difficult time in terms of playing every third days? Are you happy with the response? What is your also yet again report card in terms of how the players have handled the pressure and the amount of games that they had to play during a short period of time? Thank you.
It's quite a very good question, because I think there are a lot of things that come into play in terms of preparing the team. But we tried to prepare way ahead before we even came into this period, because as soon as we got the fixtures, we knew that January was going to be very taxing for the players. So in terms of overloading the players, we did that during our pre-season. So now there's not really much training. We're focusing more on recovery, because the matches we are playing are also overload. So it's more tactical and recovery. That's what we are trying to focus on. But at the same time, as well, credit should go to our conditioning team as well as the medical team. I think they've really done a good job in making sure that the players are available. The players are always fit, and available for selection. They've done it, great work, in that regard. We've got a very, small squad. I think probably 11. We've got only about 25 players, and I think 15, of those ones are under 22s. So we've got a lot of young players who need a lot of strength, training for them to cope with the challenges that we face in the league. So I'm quite pleased with our medical team and the conditioning team. They've done a great job.
I'll take the last three questions, starting off with Vuyo.
My check 1 2 1 2. Thank you so much, Coach. It's Vuyo from Power 987.
Morning, Vuyo.
First part of the question is I'm just remembering back when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had one interview, and he was asked the question about what he enjoys the most. Does he enjoy chasing, or does he enjoy being at the top and being chased? And I want to pose a similar question to you, Coach, now that we see that just at the top there seems to be a switch between these three teams. What do you enjoy most? What is most satisfying for you, the chasing or being at the top and being chased? And the second part of the question is, when I just look at the magnitude of this game, I'm looking back at the Sundowns game in terms of the importance, not that the other games are not that important, but in terms of just top table clashes. Have you sort of reflected back on that game against Sundowns to say, these are the things that we need to make sure that we sort out, because this game that's coming up on the weekend is a sort of similar top of the table clash that we played on with Sundowns. Have you picked out, have you referenced that game going into this one?
Yeah, look, I think the Sundowns game was very tough, because we had played midweek, and that game midweek, so they were a little bit more rested. And if you look at the quality they have in the team, it was always going to be a difficult game. And at the same time as well, if you look at our previous meetings, they've always dominated, the Tshwane derby. So for me, it was a good starting point, for us, to play the way we played and still come out and and get a result, and that was key. Especially like you mentioned, at top of the table, you need to try and play and get a result. And also we're playing against Swallows, a team that has been doing well, a team that is unbeaten. So we need to really try and come out there and give our all, and make sure that we also get a good result, because we're also playing at home. And so our game is going to be very key. It's going to be very important, because our game is what wins us matches, and we're going to try and focus on that, so that on the day of the game we are ready. And the second question, it was about, can you just repeat a little bit, Vuyo?
I was referencing
the first one,
to Manchester United coach Ole Gunnar Solskjaer about enjoying being chased or enjoying the chasing.
Look, the past 2 seasons we've been chasing, and I think we've always had a chance, mathematically to be in there or, to win it. We just lacked a little bit of consistency. So I would want us, to be there and see what happens. How are we going to be able to handle the pressure, especially with the squad which we have, with a lot of young players. I want to, try and see how are they going to be able to handle the pressure of being chased. And at the same time, when you are being chased, you only focus on your game. Whereas when you're chasing, you are focusing on your game and you are focusing also on the opponent's game. So you're actually playing 2 games, each and every time when you play. So we want to try and see how it is to be up there and see how, our squad reacts to that, because that's always good. It's also good, a good learning curve for the young, players that we have in the squad.
Taking the last 2 questions. Any takers before I release coach? Right, no takers. Coach, thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so much, Coach.
Coach, you can say.
Sure, sir.
Members of the media, I'm now joined by SuperSport United defender Grant Kekana. Grant, after a tough road, now we're at the end of the month, back-to-back games, big one on the weekend against Moroka Swallows. Just share your view on the game.
First of all, good morning to all members of the media. Yeah, I think it's been quite a tricky month, lots of games, but where we are right now, I think we've done pretty well for ourselves, but we keep going. So it's another tough one on the weekend, top of the table clash. We know Swallows has been on a good run, they're unbeaten. They have a lot of strength, but we want to nullify a lot of their threats so that we can get a positive result.
Voyo, I see your hand is up, you can go ahead.
Thanks, Brian. Good morning to you, Grant. Maybe just also with the personnel that you have in the team, this is somebody, of course, that you'll be getting a lot of instructions in at the back throughout the course of the game, and Rodman Williams. And just if you had to reflect and just how much he's been such a motivation to you guys, I think coming up this weekend, it's that 100 games on the row feat that he's going to be achieving for the team. It's just unwarranted for a player. Just if you're reflecting back, and just how much is easy giving to you guys in terms of motivation, his leadership, now that he's going in the weekend as well, it's going to be achieving another sort of milestone.
Yeah, I think I've known Ronza for quite a long time, since development. He's always had those leadership qualities in him, and it's good to see that come out even on the bigger stages, but the feat that he's going to achieve this weekend, I think, just boils down to consistency, and the way he's been taking care of himself, so he's an inspiration not only to the youngsters but also to myself, because I've seen him from the start, and it's good to see that he still keeps on elevating.
Karabo.
Thank you. Good morning, Grant. I hope that you are. I just wanted to find out what is the conversation among you, the players of SuperSport United, because you are currently seeing yourself on second spot on 27 points, obviously going up against the Moroka Swallows, who've been absolutely fantastic, just like yourself. So what is the conversation among you, the players of the club? Is it a conversation of saying, listen, we've been in and around this place for far too long, let's try to go as far as we possibly can and see how we can go? Is it also a mandate among you guys as the players to say, let's also try to qualify for the Champions League? So just your thoughts on the conversations that you guys have had as the players of the club. Thank you.
I think we're not getting too carried away, because we don't want to get lost in all the hype, so we're taking it one game at a time. We're not getting too excited because we know it only takes 2 games for you to fall off, but it also takes 2 games for you to move forward. So we're not getting too ahead of ourselves, but we're appreciating the fact that we're on a good run, and we'd like to keep it going for as long as possible.
Dalmain, I see your hand is up.
Yeah, I grant Dalmain from Fatima. My question to you is more of a personal one regarding your play this season. We've seen you play in various positions. Sometimes you be bombing up as a fullback, sometimes you're playing as a centre back. And also, I think over the last 2-3 seasons, we've seen you prove to be consistent. I just want to ask, one, what do you attribute this consistency to that we've seen in your game? And then number two is, what would you say is your best position?
I think, to be honest, it will boil down to physios. I think that I used to have a lot of problems regarding muscle injuries and stuff. So even before training, there's a program set up for me, to just keep on strengthening. And it's also been myself trying to be consistent in attending those sessions before training, so that I'm in the best shape possible. So I think a lot of credit goes to them because their program has been working quite well, and I'm reaping the benefits of it. In terms of my best position, I think maybe because I'm getting a bit slower these days, centre back seems to be a very good position for me, and I quite enjoy playing it there. But wherever I'm called, I'm willing to give 100%.
Do I see Karabo again?
Yes, can I go? Is there anyone, or can I go?
You can go. I don't see any hands up. I'll take the last three. Karabo, you can go.
Okay. Hey, Grant, I was just listening to your previous answer saying you're slowing down and, the agents. I'm thinking, I hope it's not soccer age, my friend. I think in the team, you've got one of the most gifted players. I always like, asking about it because it's a very special position. That is the one of Sipongula and what he's been able to do with the ball at feet. I think, he's got a touch of an angel as well, a magician with the ball at feet, as I said. What is it like to be playing with such a gifted player? I mean, only 22 years of age, and what do you foresee for him in the future? Because he's one of the most gifted players, not just at the club, but in the league as well. Thank you.
Yeah, he's a special talent. He's got great confidence within himself, and I think he's the only person that can limit himself, to play alongside him, it's, you can't really explain the feeling because you just want to win the ball and give it to him so that he does something special, So I think if he keeps going at the rate that he is, with his head down and just working hard, only God knows how far he can go because he's a special talent.
Do we have any takers? All right, members of the media, that concludes our press conference. I will share the audio with you guys ASAP. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brian. Thank you, Grant.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.